Yeah. Well, yeah and no. It was the sun. It was kind of. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like. All right, everybody ready to look at me?
My name is Shanita Dixon.
All right, so I asked a couple of questions. How did you know you were different?
Well, I knew that I was different when I didn't want to be too feminine or too masculine. I wasn't much like my peers, and this was from a young age. I was the only girl amongst like 4 of us, and so I was raised amongst boys, and once I got around other people and I was in school, I really was not like the other kids.
How do you identify with the LGBT community?
I identify with the LGBT community because I am bi. I have the best of both worlds. As we say, we got options. Age of 7. I saw some breast on TV, and I was watching TV that I didn't need to be watching, and from there, I guess it was solidified.
That is facts. That is facts.
I mean, you know, I like what I like.
So the next question is, name a stigma or a label that people assume about you.
People, I've been told they assume I'm a lesbian. There's nothing wrong with being a lesbian at all, but I'm not. There's a lot of people that assume I'm straight, so I guess both of them are right. When you merge the opinions together, I don't know. People just make all different types of assumptions just based on the way you carry yourself, and so depending on if I'm dressing masculine one day, they think I'm completely lesbian. If they see me in a dress or something like I've got on today, they think I'm heterosexual, and honestly, I don't really care. I don't care what people think.
I'm actually bringing them back here
Okay.
for the next one.
A-E-H. H. Okay. Stop trying to show me Kalani.
Well, that does first do it as a friend.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, what I'm looking at? Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna add my name.
Woo! Okay. How do you stay positive when some people hate who you are?
I stay positive by realizing that whatever internal hatred that they got going on is a projection of what they got going on inside.
Exactly.
I recognize that my lifestyle, who I like, who I choose to date, who I choose to be with, has nothing to do with how they lay in bed at night. So I just let it roll past. People say what they want to say, quote whatever book they want to quote. It don't bother me.
Got it. All right, next question. How does your lifestyle interfere with daily life? If it doesn't, have you ever had an experience where you felt out of place?
I would say it doesn't really affect my daily life. Thankfully, I have a lot of people around me, including family, that love and accept me for who I am. So I'm not dealing with a lot of things that people in our community are dealing with. But I have felt out of place when I first came out. I didn't really know how people were going to react, and you know, people in their slurs and ignorance. It's kind of hard to find your place when you know you're the only one that's different. But when you're around the right people, you're always in the right place.
I like that. Okay. Next
Top of the head, girl.
Right. Next question. How do you deal with how the world views you?
Fuck the world. I deal with it. I don't know. I guess just because I'm a woman, I'm a cisgender woman. Like I said, I'm not getting as much hate as a lot of people want to spew to, you know, everybody else who's in the LGBTQIA all of our letters. Community.
All of them.
plus community. So I don't think that I am received in a bad kind of way. I mean, people look at me kind of weird sometimes. They question, they try to figure me out, but again, I'm myself. I don't care. Assume what you want. You might be right. Shit.
I love it. Okay, so the next question is, share a prideful moment that made you feel in place. So it kind of piggybacks on the 2 questions.
Gotcha. A prideful moment where I felt in place. A couple years ago, when they legalized gay marriage, which I think is just crazy that you have to legalize love between 2 people. It's just the fucking craziest thing. I had a photo assignment to do in DC that weekend, so I felt really in place because we were all celebrating, and of course seeing the what is that, human rights, what is the name of that building with the 3 lines, whatever, it's I had to Google it, whatever, I should know this, but outside of the building, I was able to take a selfie, and I just saw so many people just happy in the streets, and it just kind of reminded me, like, okay, I'm not alone, we are out here, and love is what's always gonna fucking win.
Last question, are you happy with who you are, and do you love yourself? Would you change anything about how you love?
Child, no, I don't not change nothing about the way I love. What? I love me. Yes, I do love myself. It took some years to get to this point, not gonna lie. But I do love myself. I accept myself for who I am. I've tried to have the gay pushed away, and it's not
going nowhere.
It's not going a damn place. I knew this at 7, and I'm gonna be there this way until I'm 107. So I love me. I hope y'all love yourselves. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with me.
I have Kiara Mel with me. We're gonna go ahead and start the interview. I have a couple questions for you. So the first one is, how did you know you were different? How did you know you were different?
I remember like being really young and like really obsessed with like really investing in things I didn't think boys should be invested in. So I was really invested in like Disney princesses and like musicals, and there's some times where I like to play dress up and maybe use my mama's slip or her church heels. And I just remember, especially growing up in a really conservative home, like I knew that's not what boys were supposed to do. Even being 3 or 4, I was like, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So even from then, I kind of knew that I was a little bit different. But as time went on and growing up and going through different experiences, I finally found my way.
Gotcha. Okay. So the next question is, how do you identify with the LGBT plus community? You know, we have a whole bunch of acronyms after that, but which one would you say you identify with the most, or do you identify with any of them at all, or just you?
I can confidently say that I am like a cis gay man. I've only been doing drag for about a year, and the only reason I started doing drag is because when I started going to the gay clubs when I became of age and seeing drag performers, it just seemed like a lot of fun, and all my life I wanted to entertain. I was raised in church and sung in a choir, played piano, did like theater and stuff, so I finally found my way to drag and how I can kind of give back to the gay community that's given me so much.
Gotcha. I love drag shows. Like, they are so fun to me. It's a whole lot of energy. You know what I mean? I love it. Okay, so the next question is, name a stigma or a label that people assume about you. Either if you're Kiara Mel at the time, or if you're just, you know what I mean, outside of being Kiara Mel.
I think a stigma, I guess, revolving the community that I have about me is that being in a drag queen means that I want to be a woman. I have a lot of friends that are straight and coming from a really conservative area. When they see a man in a dress and a wig, they automatically think that they're cross-dressers or to over-sexualize them, or they want to become transgender. But I learned, I had to teach people along my way that, you know, drag is an art form, and transgender is a lifestyle.
Exactly.
So I know a lot of amazing entertainers that are trans women, but drag is kind of like their job. It's kind of what they do, but trans is who they are.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest stigma that I have. But I feel just how women, when they walk into a conference room and they have a pantsuit on, they're going to kind of listen to what they have to say. They're empowered. So I feel like when I put on a bodysuit or a dress and a shake and go wig, like, I can use my voice and amplify that to educate the people around me.
Got you. Thank you so much for the answer. A lot of people like to put that stigma, like, okay, well, they want to be a woman. No, it's something that's inside of them that makes them feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and my drag, what I really like about drag is the art of illusion. So I try to look as much as a woman as I can, because that's just my art. That's my judge. That's just what I want to do with my drag. But I am very confident in my sexuality and my gender. Actually, when I started doing drag, before that I always struggled with the separation between masculinity and femininity. So with drag, it helped me separate that. Like, I feel like I'm a better man, even more masculine outside of drag, and can present myself where people might take me more seriously, especially when I work in a corporate setting, 8 to 5 during the week. So.
Got you. How do you stay positive when some people hate who you are or what you do? Well,
for the longest time, I even hated myself for what I was trying to hide and who I wanted to be. Like I said earlier, I just grew up in a really conservative area. I grew up southeast North Carolina, really red, really conservative, very religious. And I remember I was super involved in church for years, and I felt like my only prayer was to not be gay. I don't care who my family was on life support or was going through hard times. Like, that was my only prayer. That's what I was afraid of, was knowing my truth. And also experienced a lot of bullying when I was growing up. The only way I got through it was to be annoyingly optimistic and positive. That's something that people know me by, is just like being positive all the time. So I guess what really helps me is like using my art as a drag queen to please people, and they unconsciously allow me to be positive to them, and they're going to reflect it back.
Gotcha.
So I just think of all the good I can do and all the good I can do with my art, the good that's in the gay community. Try to stay positive about how blessed I am, especially the crazy times we're going through right now. I can work from home. I have an amazing partner who I could not be Care Manful without him. He carries my bags. He gives to every single one of my gigs.
And I love that.
And he is amazing. He is definitely, like, I would not be able to do what I do without him.
Shout out. I love it. Tears. So the next question is, how does your lifestyle interfere with daily life? If it doesn't, have you ever had an experience where you felt out of place?
When it comes to being out of place, I went to a PWI university here in Raleigh, and I was also an agriculture student. So the first 2 years, there was no one brown nor openly queer that I knew in my lecture halls that were in the college of ag. So that's where I kind of started feeling where I was left out, because back at home, I'm Native American. There's a lot of Lumbees where I'm from. So I never really felt out of places when I finally moved to an area like Wake County and started building a community that there was not really people that looked like me or maybe even think like me. But it made it easier because I was still in the closet at the time. When I came out of the closet, a lot of my straight friends did welcome me in, but it was really hard to, when you're with the boys, it's really hard to talk about boys with them because they don't know my experiences. And even girls, you could talk about boys, but there's some things that queer people struggle with that cis heterosexual females, they don't experience. So that's how I kind of overcame that. So
okay,
what was the other part of that question? I know it was a two-parter.
So I said, how does your lifestyle interfere with daily life? And then I said, if it doesn't, have you ever had an experience where you felt out of place?
So how my lifestyle now interferes is being a drag queen is very, very, very tough if you're trying to do it well. That's not a read to anybody. But if you're trying to do it well, it's extremely tough, extremely time consuming. There's times where I have 2 shows a week, and I also have a full-time job.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes leaving my office, sitting in traffic, getting to my house, shaving, shower, sitting down for 3 hours, putting on a phase, getting stitched and tied it up, and then going to the clothes and being there till 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's really tough. And in between that, like, you're putting costumes together, you're probably cleaning stuff that you've used in between. It's like having maintenance for a completely different person for me. Because obviously I do not dress like this when I go get groceries at Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. Give it to any full-time queen, because it can be a full-time job.
Yeah.
But with times like this, like with the clothes being closed, it's not really feasible.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gotten away before. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices for drag, but when you lose, you gain at the same time. Because I really love the art of drag. I want to maybe be on TV in the next couple of years and share it globally. So I'm just working hard at it. Hopefully it pays off.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
All right, so the next question is, and it kind of piggybacks on the last question, how do you deal with how the world views you? So say, you know, you are in drag that day. How do you deal with, okay, somebody may look at you the wrong way. How do you deal with that?
Well, I just like to say I'm very even though we're going through a lot of crazy times, especially being queer and colored, it can be very, very scary. But when I'm in drag, I'm usually invited there, so it already feels like it's a safe space. That's why I'm very thankful there's a lot of queer spaces here in the Triangle.
Yeah. For
people like me, and even straight people can go and get together and communicate and just love on each other. But from a child, I've always worried about what people thought about me, and as I get older, you just start caring a little bit less, because I gotta worry about student loans getting paid, everything wig I gotta tease out, like it's just so much I have to worry about. But my one goal as a drag queen is to just entertain people. A lash might be hanging off, my wig might be looking too shake and go, but as long as I'm performing and entertaining and just make some people in the crowd happy, because you can't make everybody happy. You're not going to be everybody's favorite drag queen. Right. Everybody's not going to tip you. Everybody's not going to buy you a shot or live for you. But I just try to do the best Caramel can, and you know, just turn it out for them, and hopefully they like it or give me $1 or follow me on Instagram or something. So
right. The next question is, share a prideful moment that made you feel in place.
Right before quarantine started, I competed in this competition to be Legends Entertainer of the Year. Now, I got in that competition was actually the very first time I did drag. I was in this horrible blonde wig, no bra, 2 pairs of tights. It was really, really bad, but also it was just my first time performance. I thought I was the bee's knees. But I got on stage, and it was an amateur night. I was the first one to go. I think I was the only one there that had never performed before, and I won an amateur competition. And then I was invited back to do this end of year, like Entertainer of the Year contest at Legends. And between that, because it was my last performance, throughout my first and my last performance, a lot happened for me. I was very fortunate. I was like getting booked with girls that's been doing it for 20 years. I opened for Todrick Hall for NC Pride.
Wow,
I've been on the news with
I love Todrick.
I do too. With Drag Queen Story Hour. So this year's I've been extremely blessed, especially being a first year queen, a baby queen, and then drag is so saturated, so popular. RuPaul's Drag Race is everywhere. I've been watching every Friday night since February. It is a lot, and everybody with an Amazon Prime account and a wig and wants attention, wants to be a drag queen. So I've been very fortunate with the opportunities that I've had. But I think when I won the Entertainer of the Year, I was just really blessed, because I was competing against girls I respected and have been booked with and performed with, and my friends turned out, like, majority of my friends are straight, and those guys brought their girlfriends. They were like hollering and cheering me and other girls on,
just
and
having that support.
Yeah, just having that support, especially from a straight community. Like, of course, the girls are going to live for you in the club.
Yeah.
But when you have like your straight family that you can always lean on and have them as allies, is extremely important. Especially the times that's going on right now, we definitely need all the allies we can have.
Definitely.
So that's probably the moment I felt like I was like, right, this is where I need to be. This is what I need to be doing.
Okay, and so the last question is pretty generic, but are you happy with who you are and do you love yourself? And then the second part is, would you change anything about how you love, about who you are?
I think I love myself, and I think it comes from having parents that always poured love into me. I was very fortunate enough to be brought up by both of my parents, and they've been married for 23 years, and they love my sister and I. My sister's also part of the LGBTQ plus community, and coming out to them, like, I came out around Christmas time this past year to them, and it was tough. It was tough. But I know that I'm loved, and that helps me love myself. I think there's things that I definitely don't love about myself. Like, I don't like how I try to be a perfectionist. I don't like how I'm very impatient with things. I don't like how jealous I can be sometimes. And I think it's just all from insecurities that I have, where I was younger and taught I wasn't good enough by people in school, and I was always teased if I was too fat, too gay acting, too dark. I mean, all these other things I was bullied for. I think that's all stems from insecurities I have. But I guess even with the art of drag, like, you become more confident in yourself as a drag character and as a human being.
Yeah,
so
that pours into your life, personal life.
Absolutely.
I love that. Get him information, Bakari. I like that. That right there. Like, if you on accident, tell me, like, yeah, I like that.
Yep, keep that.
I like that. So I'm here with Bakari Deshawn. Thank you for joining me.
I'm sorry, it's really hot, so I'm gonna be patting my face.
You're good. You're good. This is definitely uncut and raw. So first question I have for you for the interview is, how did you know you were different?
It was just internal. Like, I already knew, but I've always been different. I don't know, Key. Sometimes you just know you're different. It's not really like a aha moment until you get grown, when you start realizing, like, okay, like, this is why I did that when I was younger, or this is the cause of that. So it clicked. So I've always known, but it wasn't until I got older that I really could see the difference and embrace the difference.
But you knew something was there.
I knew it was there. I knew, like, yeah, girl. I knew I was different.
I got you. I understand.
I was different.
I definitely understand. All right. So next question is, how do you identify with the LGBT plus community? Because, you know, it's other ones out there after that.
Some of those after the plus, we ain't gonna use them, because they trying to add the pedo to that too, right?
Really?
Like the pedophile.
Are you serious?
Yes. I forgot who was telling me that, and I kind of knew that, but you don't want them to associate with us.
That's not.
But I identify. I'm not one to care for labels or titles, but I'm gay. I don't like girls. I might try one day. Who knows? But I am gay.
Okay. All right. So next question: name a stigma and or a label that people assume about you.
Just because I like to beat my face, I want to be a girl. And that's not the case. I just like to look nice. I like to look polished. I like to be beat. Like, what's wrong with that?
And I love your look. You know, I love your look.
Y'all better stop gassing me so much in this season. I'm trying to tell y'all.
This is what it's for. This is your time, right? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, it's my
okay,
time.
Then.
It's my time.
All right. So the next question is, how do you stay positive when some people hate who you are?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. I stay positive because I always do me. I'm a person, I've always done what I want. 95% of the time, that's why I got in trouble as a kid, because I just did what I wanted to do. So when there is negativity around me or people who don't understand my lifestyle or understand how I am, I just continue to be myself. And whether, if you can tolerate that while you're around me, cool, but if not, then I really don't know what to tell you, sis, because this is me and this is what you're gonna get.
That's what you're gonna get.
Always.
And that's what I like about you, that you always say the same. You're consistent. You don't change how you are.
Because what's the point? Like, the more energy you have or you use to try to be somebody else or try to act like somebody else, you're just creating a facade for somebody to see, and then you gotta tear that down. And
I got you. Most definitely. That was a good answer. Okay, so the next question is, how does your lifestyle interfere with daily life? If it doesn't, have you ever had an experience where you felt out of place?
I feel out of place all the time. My whole life has been out of place. I've always been the black sheep, the misfit, the whatever you want to call it. But I wouldn't say I have any conflicts day to day. I will say, being or grown up in Goldsboro, which is like a really religious type city, you learn to kind of grow up with thick skin. So I'm not saying I don't have any troubles or trials that I've experienced, but there was this one time I was at Popeyes with my friend, and we were just sitting outside of our cars talking. We had already ate, and these two, it was a white guy and a black guy, but most of the people in the truck were white, and he rolled by and called me a faggot.
Wow.
So that, I want to say that was like maybe 3 years ago. I think that was 2017.
Just out the blue.
Out the blue. Like I don't even think I had on. I think I had on like Adidas pants and a shirt.
So how would you,
how did you even know, unless you personally knew me or you saw me from social media? But that's the only instance that I can remember. It didn't really hurt me, but I was like, nigga, you don't even know me. You don't even know if I'm a real life faggot or not.
Yeah, like, you just assuming.
And you just assuming and calling me all types or that name. And I got in a car and I was just like, you know what? I reacted how I was supposed to, because I did not trip. I did not, you know what I'm saying? I could have followed him, because if you know me, pull up king. And
just the derogatory words that he used, like he could have, you know what I mean?
He could have minded his business and not said nothing. Like, I wasn't bothering you. I was in a conversation and you decided to ride by because you saw the baddest and you wanted to call me a faggot. Like, no. That's not it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Understood. That people just, I don't know, they feel like they always have something to say.
They always got something to say because they're intimidated to live their own truth.
Yeah.
You want to project negativity and hate on me because I'm free and liberated, while you over there probably trying to be in my DMs lately.
Like, dang.
Key, don't get me started.
Alright, let's go to the next question, because that'll be a whole different conversation. Okay. So the next question is, how do you deal with how the world views you? And that kind of ties in and piggybacks to what we just talked about.
I just continue to be unapologetic, and it took me a while to really get to a place of being unapologetic. I've always been a confident and bold person, but being in this lifestyle, or wherever you want to clarify it as, you have some insecure moments and you find some insecure things about yourself. So over time, you just learn how to deal with it. You learn how to deal with the lifestyle, what comes with the lifestyle, the people that come with the lifestyle. You got your DLs, you got your your curious people, like everybody. Yeah. So I've just learned to take it one day at a time, to accept myself one day at a time, because I'm a lot. Like, I'm extra, if y'all can't tell.
And everybody's in different stages in that journey, you know what I mean?
And I think where
everybody communicates different.
Yeah, where I'm at, I'm just like, you know what you see is what you get. I'm not for the change in this. If you see me one day with hoops and then the next day I look like D-boy off the street, mind your business, because I can just switch it up like that. That's the beauty of this lifestyle, or just being gay, or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to put no titles on nothing, but you can just switch up. You can be who you want to be inside of all these colors and these titles and everything. Like, I just deal with it one day at a time.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question is, share a prideful moment that made you feel in place. I know you say you feel out of place all the time, but has there ever been a moment where you did feel like, okay, this is, you know what I mean? Like who I am. This is who I'm becoming.
Now I've only been to gay clubs a few times, and I still feel out of place in there. Like, it's a good time. I have a good time, and I like the experience. But I'm just like, I still don't feel in place. But
like,
I still
y'all don't act like me.
Right? Y'all don't act like me. Like
They be doing so tough.
A prideful moment.
Or something that
any moment that I'm able to walk outside and just be myself on a daily basis, that's a prideful moment for me. Anytime that I get to exude who I truly am, anytime that I get to advocate for this community or advocate for somebody who might, you know what I'm saying, not have come out yet or need some help, like anytime.
Yeah.
But I would just say at any moment that I'm able to express who I truly am.
Okay. All right, so the last question for this interview, and I already know what the answer is, but are you happy with who you are, and do you love yourself?
Oh, you're damn skipping.
I know, I already did it. So the second part of that is, would you change anything about how you love, like, you know, who you are?
I would not. I know I still have some improvements to make, and I got my bullshit too, just like everybody else. But for the most part, there is nothing that I wouldn't change. I'm trying to think. I wouldn't change anything how the way I love now. I could make improvements to some things as far as like, you know, pulling back on the aggression, because you know I'm aggressive.
Yes.
And it's just natural for me. That's just how I am. But if I could, actually, know what? I wouldn't change that. Because that's me.
That's you, yeah.
I'm aggressive by nature, so.
And you gotta understand that people take it different. So like with me and you know, I be having a car, you be like, hold on, wait. Okay, we good.
Yeah, like,
but that's just who you are.
That's really just who I am.
So people have to understand that, and communicate with people. You get to know them over time. Like, okay, that's how they are. They're not any other type of way.
And I try not to be so. But sometimes
that's
it just comes out that way, because that's how I am. Like, just like I can't open this damn door.
I'm coming. Let me make my footsteps loud so you know I'm coming.
Other than that, I don't think I would change anything. I would just continue finding myself and healing and making improvements and just communicating with the people around me so they know how I love and know how I am and know how to treat me. But that's really it. That's my answer for that question.
Something like Bakari doing. You put your arm like this. Something like that. Whatever's comfortable. One of those two.
Look, everybody got their arms down. Look. Okay, you gonna be okay.
You putting yours up?
I had my. I think I'm gonna do mine down.
I like Nisha. I like when you did this.
Yeah, that was cute.
All right, that look good. Yeah. All right, so we have Nish here. I'm gonna ask her a couple of questions from our interview. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
I'm glad to have you. All right, so my first question is, how did you know you were different?
I've known that I was different since I was probably a toddler. I wasn't into the average things that little girls were into. Of course, my mom forced me into ballet and stuff like that, but I was always the tomboy.
Yeah.
I have an older brother, so I always hung out with him, and I never did the girly ditzy stuff.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I always knew I was different. Of course, you know, as I got older, I tried to, you know, go with the normal of, oh, girls are supposed to be with boys and boys are supposed to be with girls. But, you know, as I got older, I kind of realized that this is not working for me.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started blossoming into myself. Like, okay, it's okay. I am different.
Understood. Yeah, I was a kid. I had the Barbie dolls, but I'm like, no, I want monster truck. I want
Right.
I would put the Barbie dolls on top of the monster truck. Like, this ain't normal. Girls supposed to be doing this.
Exactly.
But, you know what I mean? So
no, definitely.
Understood. All right. So the second question is, how did you identify with the LGBT plus community?
I am a lesbian. I've been out the closet. I love it, and I just love females.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. So the next question is, name a stigma or a label that people assume about you.
A lot of people assume, especially males, that I'm straight, of course. I just say off the bat, you know, I am who I am. Like, I don't really like labels. I accept you for who you are, and I expect the same in return.
And I feel like, as you know, they have the femme, the stem, the stud, whatever.
Right. As
a femme, you can't, quote unquote, tell. And it's like, okay, well, don't approach me if you're kind of, you know what I mean, assuming. Right. So,
yeah, I'm I dress how I feel comfortable. Yeah. So one day it might be really feminine. One day it might be sort of studdish. And, yeah. I mean, I'm never like butch, like, oh my God, t-shirt type thing. But I'm normally, you know, in between soft stud, as they call it. But I normally don't have a label. I just be like, I'm comfortable. I'm wearing sweats and a t-shirt. I'm comfortable.
That is my number one. I said this earlier. That's not my number one goal. I put on clothes. If I'm not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
Exactly.
It's gotta be comfortable. Exactly. Like, I can't go out the house being all uncomfortable with my clothes. No.
Right.
And this is me. And you know what I mean? So.
Right.
Understood. So the next question is, how do you stay positive when some people hate who you are?
I just remind myself that there's a whole bunch of hate in the world, and it is okay. Like, that shouldn't taint who I look at myself as. Maybe they have hate because they're secretly wanting to come out as well, or struggling with something secretly themselves.
That's usually the case.
So I kind of be understanding. You know, I don't let it dull my light too much, but I try to understand. You know, not everybody is brought up the same way. Not everybody has the same security net. So I kind of like, okay, you know, you can hate my lifestyle, but you have to respect me.
Exactly.
So that's how
you don't have to grill with me.
Right.
We can be cordial.
We can be cordial. Right. Definitely.
I got you. All right. So how does your lifestyle interfere with daily life? If it doesn't, have you ever had an experience where you felt out of place?
Yes, actually, 2.5 years ago, I came out to my people, my mom especially. My dad is deceased, but I came out to my mom, and she thought it was a phase. And I've always been the outspoken child out of her two kids, so it's like I'm like the black sheep already. So it's like, okay, just give me a little bit another coat of black. So I'm like, okay.
What else you gonna throw in?
Right. So my mom was like, oh, I don't accept it, but I can respect it. I said, that's all I ask. You know, that's all I ask. And I always felt out of place because, of course, your mom wants to give you away at the wedding and marry this handsome prince. And
I'm like, you can still give me away?
Right. That's what I'm saying. And she's like, it's not traditional. It's not traditional. Both my parents were raised in the church. One's Kojic, one's Baptist. And I'm like,
wow. Ooh, really?
Yeah, and I'm just there's no wiggle room. So I just like, okay, this is who I am, and I said, you can accept me or not. It's just gonna look really bad on you if you don't. But I'm still gonna live my life. You're happy living your life, let me be happy living mine.
Definitely can relate. Yeah. And I'm like, as long as you still love me for who I am, you don't have to accept it, but you're going to respect my decisions and how I live my life. So, understood. Okay. So the next question kind of piggybacks on the last one. How do you deal with how the world views you?
I just kind of go with the wind. I don't really pay attention to a lot of what the world says because of the simple fact of if everybody paid attention to what everybody else was doing, hence the reason why the world is such in an uproar now. I'm just peaceful, and I feel like it doesn't really affect me to a certain degree unless it's like, oh, you can't get married to the same sex or this, that, and the third. But I kind of don't worry about it. I keep to myself for the most part, and the more that I keep to myself, and the people that are really close to me understand what I go through. You know, they go through it as well. You know, I have friends both straight, polyamorous, bisexual, and gay. So like I have a little bit of mixture of both. But even my straight friends, they know what's up. They you know, they go to Pride with me. They're allies, all that other stuff. So like I try to center myself around, you know, positive people. Nothing but positivity. You know, you can have your opinion, but at the end of the day, we can just agree to disagree if we don't agree with each other.
Exactly.
And still be good.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, nobody's living your life but you. So you can't really be like, oh, well, that's wrong, that's right. No.
Right.
It's not right for you.
But, you know, you're living your life.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. So the next question would be, share a prideful moment that made you feel in place.
Oh, my very first Pride I went to, which was back in 2017, 18, and I never felt more in place in the world,
because people around you that are like
all
you.
The people like between trans, pansexuals, you know, bisexuals, homosexuals, gays, all of that. Like I'm like, oh, I finally found a spot. You guys. Right, I got family. I'm home. Right. So I'm like, oh, this is like really nice. And I my friends tell me I'm like flamboyantly gay, and I'm like, yeah, I'll have rainbows. I got a tattoo nail that says it. Like, I'm all for it because I lived in the closet for so long, was so afraid to be me. So I was like, you know what? When I came out the closet, I busted through the door, and I was like, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Like, accept me, leave me. It's up to you.
Understood. Okay. And so the last question is pretty generic, pretty to the point, but are you happy with who you are and do you love yourself? And then the second part is, would you change anything about how you love, or even not even if it was now, but maybe a few years ago when you were just starting on your journey or whatever the case may be?
I absolutely love the person, the flower that I'm blossoming into. Like, it took me a while being underground in the dirt for so long to finally be able to sprout up through the soil and like soak up all the sun. It's a weird metaphor, but I love it. But to soak up the sun and being able to encourage other people, you know, people that are in the closet, you know, people that don't have family that completely agree with it, you know. I love myself, and if anything, if I could tell myself anything when I first started doing this, is always love yourself. Always be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, when everybody leaves you, or when you're at home and, you know, in your own silence, you only have yourself. Yeah. So if you don't love you, then that's an issue. Exactly. So that's what I always tell myself, and I mean, it took me a while to get to that point where I could blossom, you know, go through a lot of dirt and soil and like really sit with myself and really understand like this is who I am, and I really do love myself, but how do I get other people to love me? And then once I sprout, I was like, you know what, if you love me, you love me. If you hate me, oh well. Like, I can't, that's your problem. Right, I can't take your issues on me.
As long as I'm good with myself, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Understood.
Exactly.
But I mean, I feel like it does take a load off, and it's easier when you do have that village of people around you that can support you. But at the same time, a lot of people don't have that. Exactly. So you do have to have that self-love and, you know, advocate for positivity always and have good vibes and stuff. So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have Director E here. We're going to start our interview. So the first question that I have is, how did you know you were different?
I don't want to say that like I was different. Kind of don't want to use that word because everybody is their own person. So I will always say I'm unique. And I felt that at a very young age. I would say around 5 is when I really felt like a lot of people didn't understand who I was. Or I was just really getting to know myself, because it was like just going back to girls and boys. I would have these 2 little boys that liked me, but I was looking at the female, and I was like, is this?
Right. That was me in 5th grade. I was like, wait a minute. I'm running with the boys, but I don't like them, you know what I mean? I'd be looking at the girls like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Like, why am I saying this? What's going on?
And it wasn't like I didn't like the boys, because I liked some of the boys, but I liked the girls more. Like, I had a deeper connection with them. And this is just at 6 years old. And that's, I mean, 6 years old, figure out a lot of stuff by yourself. Yeah. So just feeling those different emotions is like, I ain't different, but how would other people see about that? That's when I started questioning that aspect.
Yeah. Got you. Okay. So the next question is, how do you identify with the LGBT plus, you know, all the other acronyms?
I identify as me. If anybody asks what I am, I just say, look, I'm F, like I'm E.
There's no label, there's nothing attached.
Yeah, nothing attached, because at the end of the day, I'm a woman that loves women. Why do I need anything else to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like to be like, okay, well, I'm categorized as this, or people will ask, and I'll be like, I really don't have an answer for you. Like, I just, I don't know. Like, I'm talking to you, and okay, I like girls. All right. So,
but that's a lot of things. It just, as far as like putting yourself in a category, it's like you're putting yourself in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, just like photographers, like we got these different things. We can have our one niche, but don't always put yourself in a box, because you can always expand.
Exactly.
So don't label yourself, because if you label yourself, then people gonna be like, well,
she don't do that.
You don't do this and you don't do that, and you supposed to do this, you supposed to wear that. Like, nah.
Exactly. That's true. All right, so the next question is, name a stigma or a label that people assume about you.
The one I always get is you're a stud, and I hate it. I hate being called a stud.
Do I look like that? Do I look
it? But that's the thing. It's like, and it's not even people that I meet that assume that I'm a stud. It's the people that I already know that label me as a stud. And I'm just like, just because of the clothes I wear, which I don't feel like I'm a stud at all. I'm really feminine.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if people see me wear this right now because I have on a crop top, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like, what are you doing? I'm like,
are you a STEM now? What are you doing? You're in the middle?
So you put in another label on me now, so I'm not a stud, I'm a STEM.
Exactly. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
No, but yeah, that's
Just
one of them. It's just
the clothes, just they fit you. Like whatever you like wearing, you just wear it. You know.
wear it. Clothes
Understood.
are clothes.
Yeah.
Colors are colors.
Yeah.
Just like when a female or a male is born, you know, blue is for boys and pink is for girls.
But why though? Why can't it be purple and yellow? Like why can't it be green? Yeah. Understood. I get it. Cause one day I'll wear some sweatpants. I like to be comfortable. Comfort is my first thing. Like if it ain't comfortable, I ain't wearing it.
Don't put me in no heels.
Don't do it. I can't do no heels.
Dress.
I can't do it. Cause like people will label me as a femme, I guess. Cause I but I don't like having purses. Like
why you can't have
put it in my pocket? Yeah, put a book bag.
It's
like
still something that's holding it.
Yeah.
Like,
but anyway. All right, so the next question is, how do you stay positive when some people hate who you are? Or they don't like what they see?
Then that's their problem. It's something that's inside of them. If they don't like what someone else is doing or don't agree with what they're doing or how they look, like that's something within them. So
yeah. I
really don't put pressure towards like, if somebody don't like me, then that's fine. I don't go home and cry about it. I'm still me.
Exactly. So in other words, don't care.
I don't care. I don't care at all. Really.
That's the best answer. All right. So the next question is, how does your lifestyle interfere with daily life? If it doesn't, have you ever had an experience where you felt out of place?
I don't think I had any of those experiences. I can't put my mind on one. It's just like if I go somewhere, then I just make sure I'm who I am. I am very like, I'm an introvert, so a lot
you're
of
just
people
like
don't. Yeah, I'm
in
just
here. You're in your own space, so you're not worried about what's around you. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And this kind of ties into the last question. How do you deal with how the world views you? Or you like, again, you just be like, it doesn't really matter what they...
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing, like, some things that I run into, just in a store or something like that, or I work with kids a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So one of their questions, or even adults, is like, are you a boy or a girl? I always get that. So... like I just started feeling myself. I'm like, okay, don't. Sometimes I want to give them a stupid answer.
Yeah.
They ask me a stupid question.
Yeah, like really, you can't tell. Come on now.
But I guess just making sure that I represent myself respectfully. So I say I'm a girl, and then keep it walking.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't even say that. It's just like, it depends on how old you are. Now, if you're a kid, yes, I'm a girl. but if I had an old man ask me this before at work, and I was like, what? I actually asked him that. I said, what?
You asked me this right now? Like, can you not see?
But I don't understand that. Damn, do I look like a dude?
Yeah, like, I know I don't dress like a dude. Like, I may have on some baggy pants or something, but...
And I don't even wear baggy clothes.
Or, like, your aura or persona doesn't represent a guy. You know what I mean? Like,
But it goes to, like, people just assume it. And I don't know.
That's crazy. All right. We're moving on to the next question. So... share a prideful moment that made you feel in place. So share a prideful moment that made you feel in place. Even though, again, I know you said you're an introvert, so you're always kind of just, you know what I mean, focused on what you're doing. But has there been a time where, like, somebody came up to you and been like, oh my God, like, you inspire me, or just something like that?
I mean, I have that kind of all the time in different aspects, not just because of who I am, like prideful, not just because of that, but just because of just how how I carry myself, or my spirits, my energy. Like, people come to me for that. So
I've had that happen too. I'm like, I was checking out at Lowe's one day, and this girl was like, can I just say that, like, I love your whole energy, your aura. I was like, you can feel it. She was like, yeah, it's strong. I was like, okay then, you know, thank you. You know, I didn't take it to the head, but I was just like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Just carrying around that energy, and people notice that or they feel it, is something to be like, dang, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing something right, like you're in the right mindset and everything like that. So it feels good.
If I can live who I am and people see that, like, I hope that gives them something to live for them.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want you to be like me, but I want you to appreciate who you are as a person.
Right. Understood. All right. So the last question is, which it's kind of self-explanatory, but just for people to know, you know what I mean? Like, this is who I am. This is what you're gonna get. But are you happy with who you are, and do you love yourself? And then the second question is, would you change anything about who you are, how you love?
I would not change anything about myself.
Okay.
But that's at this age that I am now. If you had asked me that a couple years ago, I probably would have said yeah, because I had to grow into the person that I am. It was still like, and it still is a building.
Mm-hmm.
It's a you know, trying to strengthen that foundation of yourself and figure out what makes you happy and not who makes you happy.
Right.
So, no, I definitely wouldn't change anything. I just want to keep myself at a positive standpoint and have an open mind and, like, strengthen my core.
This documentary really meant a lot to me, putting in so much work. I've been planning to do this since last year. And it's something more than just Pride Month. You know, we're prideful 365, 24/7. And so, you know, I wasn't rushing to put it out, you know, during Pride Month. Specifically because of that, I didn't want it to be just for that month. I wanted it to be for something year-round. This year has been full of unexpected surprises, and, you know, just being able to finally get this out means so much. Here's the last bit of the documentary.
I'm living my truth.
I am pridefully me.
I am raw.
I am true.
I am authentic.
I am pride. Everybody stop. Bring the fuck